What a fucking weekend. I'm telling you. Oh, boys and girls, it was a week. And we welcome those of you coming in following a drunken Chiefs-Bills game. What up, everybody? How you doing? Welcome to another Sunday evening here with the Pucknologists, your unfiltered, unedited, uncensored, and commercial-free Sharks podcast here on Teal Town, USA. We got 3 games for you this week. Sharks going 1-2. We're going to get into those, plus Meier making a little bit of history. Oh, the benefits of playing in a bad division. This one-line team. Oofa. An updated NHL schedule and more. But first, you know the drill, everybody. Hook us up with those subscribes and follows on the social media, won't you please? If you'd like to support the content we deliver, you can throw a little something in that tip jar that we got working on Venmo. Find us there at Teal Town, USA. But hey, we're not a shall we say, we don't hate the super chat option. So if you'd like to use that during the live shows, feel free. We thank you for that support. And remember, if you're not watching live on YouTube, make sure to add your take to the comments section below of this video. So here we go. Week 14 in the books. Started off great, Jerk. Started off fan-fucking-tastic.
Yeah, I thought early on, Jimmy G wasn't really getting a lot of help, but you know, that rush by. Oh wait, the Sharks. Oh, I thought we were talking about the other team. Anyway, it was kind of we saw everything this week. As they say, the highest of highs, the lowest of lows, right?
Mm-hmm.
So.
Okay, so let's catch up on everything. Through 42 games this season, Sharks are now 21-19-2. That's good for 44 points, people. Year ago, or I should say not a year ago, last season.
One truncated COVID season ago.
The Sharks had 42 points. So they're 2 points better than last season. That, in Jerk's book, still better.
Yep. And we've been over this, too. Better with,
You know what else we've been over? The fact that we will not tolerate any slandering of Rudy Balcers. I feel like we've been on that for a really long time.
That poor guy. You know what I mean? Comes back from the injury. 2 goals in 2 games. How you doing? Boom. COVID positive. You just feel, and people he seems to me, Rudolph Balcers, like the prime candidate to shoulder way more blame and just crap than he probably deserves.
Yeah. Oh, I would agree. But we have not slandered Balcer's name in this house for a very, very long time. But with those 44 points that the Sharks have, they somehow remain 4th in the Pacific, which we're going to get into in a hot minute, and 2nd in the wild card. But remember, it's about points percentage. There are a lot of games in hand, which the vast majority of will be made up during next month. Let's see where everything shakes out at the end of February. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Then we can. So with that, it's all about points percentage. And right now the Sharks are 6th in the division and 6th in the Western Conference. I'm just going to say, I don't think the Sharks have a hope in hell of getting into a wild card spot. I think the path of least resistance is to try to make the top 3 in their division. And because of how putrid it is, they potentially have a shot. 4-5-1 in their last 10, 1-3-1 in their last 5, and with those critical divisional games coming up next month. Right now, the Sharks are 500. They're 3-3. So games this week, it was LA, it was Seattle, it was Tampa. Predictions wise, I went 1-3, which is not horrible
Boo.
I
How dare you go 13 weeks in a row of really good predictions and then mess up this week?
No, yeah, but see, here's the thing though. I went 1-3. I totally admit, but I had them losing to LA and beating Seattle. So I fucked up. I inverted those. I should have done it back in September when I did this. But over the course of the season, had them at 22-20 at 44 points. And where are they? 44 points. Interesting. So what do we take from the week? We got the Sharks winning a rare matinee game. Maybe it was because it was a holiday. That's why they won the matinee. I don't know. But look, Timo made history. 5 goals. Great start to a week of Sharks hockey that gave us hope, Jerk.
Yeah, especially playing against the Los Angeles Kings, that is the team the Sharks are trying to. I mean, obviously they're trying to be better than every team in the division, but the Kings specifically, they're the team that they're right there with. And to win this game in regulation, I mean, it's huge, as you've been saying. It's huge.
Huge.
And obviously, you look at this 5 goals or six, a 6-2 victory, 5 of those goals being from the same player. Yeah, it has outlier written all over it, but at the same time, winning the games you need to win, like, it gives you that positive feeling, right? And also worth mentioning, 6 goals the Sharks had. Yes, Timo Meier had 5, but Rudolf Spalsers had the 6th, not the 6th goal, but one of the non-Timo 5. 2, as we talked about, goal in 2 games in a row for him. So the Sharks looked brutal in this game at various stretches, but you know what? They won against the team they needed to beat, and I still think it's something that they need to continue to remind themselves, like, when we do the right things, we can beat the right teams.
Well, even Bugner after this one, and if memory serves, I think even Carlson, maybe Couture, I'm trying to remember that it was just 6 days ago. It feels like it was 6 weeks ago, but even they were saying, like, yeah, it's great for Timo, and that's a fun game to be a part of, but overall, you look at the tape, we did not play well. And that seemed to be an ongoing theme throughout this week. So let's get into some video. So let me see. We got Hertl on Meier here.
I think he just worked. I think he worked really hard. On his game. I think, especially the games before, he was always up and down. He was skating. He was on the puck one night, and otherwise he was kind of nowhere. So this year he's just come and he's there for us every night. And that's what the best player in NHL doing. If you want to be best and help the team win, you have to be there mostly nights. Can be one night off and one night on. And I think he get through it. And this year he's there mostly nights and helping us win a lot of games this year.
So there you go. That's Hertl with a little bit of honesty right there, kind of saying, hey, Meier took some games off from time to time before this year. It's like, let's see if I can compliment him yet throw him under the bus at the same time.
I want, I don't even want to necessarily stir it up, but this is more something that just came to my mind. But
stir it up.
You recall, when all the Kane drama was first unfolding over the summer, one of the things that was reported was that, Timo Meier was ostensibly Evander Kane's last ally on the team.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's, dude, I didn't even think about that. That's a great.
And again,
call-out.
I don't want to insinuate that Meier wasn't playing up to where he should have been because of Kane, but the timing is a bit curious, I would say.
Dude, shall we say astute observation?
I've been known to have him from time to time. And while we're also talking about Timo Meier, still number 2 in the NHL in even strength points, I've heard that's good.
I've heard. Let's get to Meier on, let's see, the creating those chances.
We didn't really create much in the offense. So we're spending most of the time defending, to be honest. And just our chances were going in. We're in the past game. past games, we were creating a lot of chances, just couldn't find the back of the net. So today was kind of a little bit the opposite. It's nice to see them go in, but I think, other guys have created a lot of chances in the past games who just couldn't get that extra bounce. And, today we're driving the net and doing the right things to score goals.
So clearly you thought that, we've been creating, and I'm not saying that goes out directly to Dahlin and Gregor, but it's like, yeah, we're creating chances. It's just getting them to go. And then for some reason that day, 5 goals on 6 shots. Yeah, everything's going in. Keep shooting, brother. But, boy, love to see some of that luck rub off on, old number 73 over there. Couple of the at least one of my favorite parts of the post game was when he was asked, "Did you ever think a game like this was possible?"
Did you ever think a game like this was possible? You'd have a game like this in the NHL?
No.
That's it. No.
I appreciate the honesty because if he had been like, oh yeah, I know I'm good, I knew I had this coming eventually, then everybody's gonna be like, oh my god, have some class and humility.
Yes, but I think he could have. I wasn't expecting Curtis to go, "Would you like to expand on that?" But right. I would have. I think he's just kind of like, well, it's obviously something you hope for, and if it happens, it's great. Not just the monosyllabic no. But it's fine. It's the humility, like you're saying.
But you know what, though? Obviously this Timo Meier interview, and then obviously all the drama with Leon Draisaitl as well. People need to remember, yes, the players on some level have an obligation to speak to the media. But if in Timo Meier's mind saying no, if to him that's a good enough answer, then it's a good enough answer, and you just need to get over it.
Yeah, you'll notice that Curtis didn't push. There was none of this. Why are you being so pissy? But we'll get to that later. But what did kind of fall by the wayside was the fact that in this game, Erik Karlsson scored his 500th assists.
And who said this was going to happen?
That would be you, sir. Send those apologies at hockey_journey.
Yeah. I should have taken you up on the
another bet.
on the second $5 bet, but you know what?
Yeah, because at this point you'd probably break even.
I don't know. They're only 1 and 2. We need to remind the fans, 3 and 5. That's what we're aiming for.
That's that break point.
3 and 5. That's where we want to be.
So the media was very hyper focused on Meier's accomplishment, as you could expect. But no one decided to ask him about it, so I was like, "Hey, pretend media over here. I'll ask."
Obviously, Timo had a game, but you recorded your 500th NHL assist today. What can you tell us about that and how fast you were able to get there?
Not much. Those are things that when I decide to hang them up, I'll look back at it. But right now, it's just another day in paradise.
Now, I will say that I'm offended that he didn't comment on how good my lawn looks.
I was going to say, you're asking that question, and I really wanted to be like, this fucking guy. Yeah. Nothing to say this week, AJ? Nothing to say?
Oh, I got things to say, motherfucker.
Yeah, he looked like he was going to come through that laptop and just joke you.
Yeah, not his happiest day.
You know what's funny, too, is I like to act like, you and Karlsson have this whole
beef
feud. He has no idea who we are.
Oh, not a clue. Not a clue. He's a podcast. What the fuck are those? Who cares?
Yeah, AJ who? I don't remember him.
Yeah, what's an AJ? Who cares?
Yeah.
Oh, but I will say the best part of the Timo game, of course, Randy Hahn's got jokes, people.
Bonino back across to the other side for Meier. Timo, he's been quiet lately. Hasn't scored in about 4 or 5 minutes.
Yeah, I caught that. That gave me a chuckle.
Oh, dude. Can we just side note for a second here? Brett Hedican got that Rona. So he's missed the last count. I think was last night his 5th straight game, I want to say.
It was, no, 4th.
Okay.
Either fourth or fifth. But
well, Hetty's you told me Hetty was on the broadcast yesterday.
yeah, last night they were doing the triple cast, which I know that you personally are not a fan of the triple cast, and normally I'm not either, but I think I think Brett Hedican is good. I think he's good in like the.
I think he's good when he's used behind the glass.
I was gonna say they don't call it this, but like the rinkside reporter or the ice level guy. I think he's really good because he's like as somebody who's obviously played in the NHL, he sees the game differently from that level versus being up in the rafters.
Yeah, and can give his take from that point of view of former players, someone who sees it at that level. I'm totally fine with that. But that being said, Remenda is, slid right back in. And I don't know if it's just me noticing it or if anybody else has, but I've noticed these last 4 games, Hahn and Remenda, I'm hearing a lot less of the Yoda talk from Hahn. Got the shot off, Carlson did. A lot less of the Yoda speak. Hahn seems so much more relaxed and having fun when he's just not to say that he's not having fun with Hetty, but there's just a chemistry that he has with Remenda. It's a little more fun that he's having. Did we quickly forget the pregame for Seattle where he's like, the last 2 years sucked.
Right. And it's very curious to me. Obviously, this season Remenda he stepped in when Hedican's unavailable. He's sick or prior engagements or whatever's going on, right? So the fact that they went to the 3-person broadcast last night,
is that that's a sign that like Remenda might remain on the TV side?
Well, so that's what I was going to say is, okay, is it Saturday? So they're bringing out all the big guns. Is it
playing the Cup champs?
Right. Are they bringing out the big guns because it's a Saturday? Is it a situation where it's like, we think we like that more, so we're going to secretly, but in front of your face, transition the other way? Or maybe is it a situation where, Hedican felt like, maybe he wasn't totally 100% ready to come back, so you needed a little bit of an extra boost. Doesn't have to talk as much.
Perhaps. I just hope it's a sign of things to come. Put people in the position that they succeed in the most, and
sure.
For me, that's where it is. But look, the LA game, we're all having a good time. Meier makes franchise history. It's all the Rooster tricks popped out, and then once he hit 5, it's okay. What comes after Rooster? Again, Carlson 500th NHL assist. Hertl had 4 assists in this goal, as Jerk mentioned. Carlson had 3, 4 in my book because I'm counting the assist to Kopitar's goal, but that's just on me. The Sharks did score 2 of 3 on the power play, which was like, whoa, where did this come from? Not too shabby. Vlasic got 19 minutes of time on ice, which to me says, oh, the Sharks must be up by 5 goals. The concerning stat, of course.
No, AJ. Situations determine the personnel.
Dictate, yeah. The concerning stat, of course, is the Sharks were outshot 41-17 in this.
Yeah, that's brutal.
That's letting in a lot of stuff. We've been tracking ticket sales. You know this. For this one, 10,700 people had tickets for this one. Again, that's tickets sold, that's tickets used. And as pointed out by Casey Matheson, am I saying that correctly?
Yes, Matheson.
As pointed out by him, years from now, there will be more than 10,000 people that say they were at that game.
Dude, I was there.
No, I'm pissed, dude, because I was at a big football party the day before, Niners, Cowboys, and I'm talking to my boy Brett, and I'm going, dude, we should so go to the LA game tomorrow. Like it was if you've ever seen the movie Friday, both of us were like, you ain't got shit to do tomorrow. Like let's, and I forget something popped up for him. He's like, well, I could kind of go do this. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? I could use this time to work on some stuff around the house, or it's like, I'm still going to give the game the side eye or whatever. But Timo gets a hat trick in the first period. All of a sudden, I'm laser focused on that, not even paying attention to, like, I think my wife said something at one point, and I'm like, what? I'm busy.
Yeah, well, it's like, I was, I was still recovering from my, surgery sounds a bit excessive. I was still recovering from my procedure from last week. And
got some new titties, did you?
Sure. So I didn't go to work on Monday, and so I was, normally when I'm watching the game, I watch if I'm feeling like kind of froggy, I'll watch on my couch on the TV. But for the most part, I'm on my computer with the game on, same as you, giving the game the horse eye, doing something else. But no, I was still recovering from my procedure, so I'm in bed, just kind of chilling, watching, and then Meier got the hat trick in the first. I'm like, shit. I gotta get up. I gotta go tweet about this. So I sat on my computer. I was sitting on my computer, like
people must be aware of my thoughts.
I was sitting on sitting on my computer, like slowly, like nursing a thing of ramen noodles, watching this game. And
well, you're back to solid food now.
Yeah. So yeah, back to solid food. Chewing some things is still a bit tough, but yeah, back to solid food. Had a nice burger from Red Robin tonight. Shout out to Red Robin.
All right.
And yeah, we're in there.
So we move on to Seattle. Now, remember the Sharks game, it was Reimer gets the start. You got Barabanov was still out, and that was the first meeting of the season against LA, who came in on a 4-game win streak. Evidently, the Sharks broke LA after that because they then lost 3 straight. But anywho, we move on to Sharks at Seattle. Hill gets a start. Bugner straight up saying, yeah, we're giving him this start because we didn't want him to be sitting on his ass for like a week and a half.
It's kind of like, okay, I know where you're going.
Yeah, it's kind of like because Reimer will start against Tampa, and oh well, as luck would have it, they would both play in that game. But second meeting of the season versus Seattle, they lost 3-1 in December. Whoa, and they lose in Seattle. The Kraken going into that were 1-8-1 in the previous 10 games. The last regulation win coming against, you guessed it, San Jose. The other thing that did not roll well for the Sharks is that Balsers went on to the COVID protocol, but they did get Barabanov back. So half of 12, 6 a dozen, or what is it? Half of 12, half a dozen. Other.
6 in one hand, half dozen in the other.
Yeah, whatever it is. Who cares?
It's okay. There's only one person who can be quippy on this podcast, and it's me. So
there you go. Oh, you see, you had to go. Only one person can quippy, and it's not you, AJ.
Yeah. Stay in your lane, buddy.
Yeah. So to start off the Seattle game, we go back to Randy feeling, I guess, a little Randy after what happened with the Timo game, and talking about the Sharks having fun again.
My headline right now would be Sharks hockey is fun again. And I don't just mean about Monday or the natural hat trick by Hertl against Philly or even Logan Couture's overtime winner against Detroit a couple of games ago. The last 2 years sucked for the fans, for the players, for us, along with COVID and playing in empty arenas and not a good team vibe, both in the dressing room and not good enough play out on the ice. But things are fun again, and you can see it in the eyes and the faces of the players. The captain is happy to lead this group, and everybody's pulling on the same rope. And it's fun to be at these games and watch these games again.
At least it was until Tampa came into town.
I was going to say, I wonder what was going through Curtis Brown's mind when Randy said that.
That the last 2 years sucked?
Yeah. Well, I
don't want to talk about that. There was a couple moments.
People on both sides.
Yeah, they were good. Jesus, yikes. Oh. So, Seattle, 40 seconds in, Barabanov hits Hertl, and you're going, all right. The Sharks got this, because one of the biggest things for the Sharks this season is the fact that when they score first, it's good. And
usually.
And you got the Kraken fans are even booing their own power play. Like, talk about a short honeymoon. Woo! Like, did Seattle fans expect to have another VGK? Or is it that, like, Seattle fans are like, yeah, no, we know hockey. And this power play sucked. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Susie had a hell of a game in this one. But Sharks lose 3-2. The storyline for me in this one is that the Sharks power play.
Brutal.
Dude, especially in the third period, man. I mean, Seattle was trying to give you this game on a platter with a parade to the penalty box. You go 1 for 6 on the power play after going 2 for 3 versus LA, a much better team. You know?
I mean, it's 5 versus 5. Okay, the penalty kill is good. I don't even think we need to talk about the penalty kill. 5 versus 5, it's up and it's down, but whatever. Bob makes adjustments as he need to. The power play. Bob is a guy where if something's not working, he'll stop doing it. Or if something is working, he'll keep doing it. Why is the power play the exception to the rule? Obviously, he's got the right, make no mistake, he's got the right personnel on the power play for the most part, but like Bonino, 5 goals on the year, no goals in forever. Same with Noah Gregor, same with Jonathan Dahlen. These guys have not scored in a minute. And now, are there no better options? Probably. But at what point do you just say, you know what? Like, the O-line has been really good for us. Why don't we give them a twirl on the power play and see what happens?
At the very least, your chances of giving up a shorty go down dramatically.
And all I'm saying, before he got injured back in, I believe it was November, or the end of November, beginning of December, Rudolph's Balcers, for some reason, was not getting power play time.
Yeah,
I hope when he comes back, and by everything we know about the COVID protocols, my guesstimation is that Balcers is going to be back for the Sharks game on Wednesday against the Capitals. I'm really wanting Balcers to be on the power play in this game.
It sounded like he would return for that game. Like he should be able to test out by then. I mean, if it's only this...
I mean, yeah, he tested positive on the 20th, so...
Yeah, and if it's only this 5-day window, blah, blah, blah. But, I mean, maybe this is a case of the Sharks were, like, looking past Seattle a little bit because of the upcoming 5 games that they have through the, southern, southeast gauntlet that there is. But I just don't get that power play, just 1 for 6 in the third, just trying to hand it to you. And then finally, it would be nice as well to get some offense from some of these offensive defensemen. They talk about not scoring in a hot minute. It's been over a month since Erik Karlsson's had a goal.
Here's the thing. I give Karlsson, especially right now, I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt only because, he is obviously banged up a little bit, but as we've talked about many times, not just with Karlsson, but with guys in general, if you're not good, that's fine. Just don't force it,
If you're not good, don't be bad.
Right, but that's what I'm saying is if you're not 100%, don't force yourself because it's just going to make it worse. And so obviously Karlsson, he's not all there. He's a bit banged up, and so I tend to give him the benefit of the doubt. But Burns was dynamite, that game against the Flyers, the game against the Red Wings, and I thought he had some looks in that game against Pittsburgh as well, but dude, he was brutal against Seattle, and it's
Burns has been a fucking yo-yo this year,
and that's what I'm saying. It's starting to trend where it's like, for the longest time, it was like 75% good and 25% bad, and we're starting to trend
60-40
the other way. Yeah, it's like 60-40, and then who knows where it's going to go from there. But and I was talking about this with a friend of mine, and dude, we've been talking about this for years, so I don't even know if this is like realistic at this point. But if the Sharks miss the playoffs this year and you're already committed to Erik Karlsson, how are you not thinking about a Brent Burns trade for some help at forward, Like I know that's kind of a snowball into a completely different conversation, but
we're going to get there, my friend.
But it's just something I wondered, and that's not to say that anybody who says, "Oh, these players suck, trade them for this," that's a stupid way of thinking.
Well, yeah, remember the tweet of the week a couple of weeks ago where it was like, "Why can't we get good players for our garbage?"
Yeah, but it's just you see, obviously having Burns was good, well, should have been good for this game Karlsson missed, but it's like you've got Karlsson you're committed to. Merkley looks like a guy. if you want, and we're going to get into what the difference between a retool, reset, rebuild, whatever is, but if that's the direction you're going, how are you not giving Karlsson and Merkley the keys to the car and maybe doing what would be a quote unquote hockey trade, a retool trade from your position of strength to build up your position of weakness. In this case, wing, and if you say Burns to forward, I'm logging out of Skype. So.
Out of Discord, out of social media.
You know what I mean, though? Like, I just think it's kind of a microcosm for the whole season, but, like you're stacking the deck on defense, but then it's like, it's clearly not working out the way the Sharks wanted it to.
Couldn't agree more.
That was kind of all over the place, but
that's fine. But we're talking about garbage. Speaking of which, can anybody replace Peterson permanently? I don't care if it's Raska. I don't care. Gadjevich when he comes out. Somebody?
No. Gadjevich. You know what? I'm sure he's a nice guy, but the Sharks would be better suited. Sharks need to just throw him on waivers, let Vancouver claim him back, and call it a day. I understand. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not naive. I realize that he is a pretty decent goal scorer at the AHL. But the Sharks
last I looked, the Sharks
don't play in the AHL.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, there's too many of the same guy, right? Like, you have, like, I like Raska, and I like VL, and Gadjevich is a guy. They're all the same guy, I would probably give the edge to Raska because he's only 20, but it's just...
Can we just get Peterson out of here?
Peterson, Gadjevich, like, that's where I'm starting. It's just like you want, like, and I even said it. I believe it was the game. It was the game against the Penguins when they got dummied, set 8-5. I think it was. Like, the Sharks icing an AHL bottom six has finally caught up to them, and it still is.
Peterson, to paraphrase, Peterson is a guy who would shit the bed and then blame the bed.
Not even that.
It's just not working out.
It's like, you have... It's like we've talked about before. Like, at some point, scoring chances need to become goals, right? Right. The problem with the fourth line is, like, they don't even get scoring chances.
Yeah, particularly when Peterson is around. It's not a great thing. So we move on to the hellscape that was the Tampa Bay game last night.
Something just popped in my head, and then we can move on. But I think on a Stanley Cup team, Bonino is fine as a third center, but I think on a Stanley Cup team, Nieto and Cogliano, they're the wingers on your fourth line, not your third line.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Could not agree more. So with the Tampa game, Reimer gets the start. That didn't last for very long. Sharkie's 30th birthday. Happy
Poor
birthday.
guy.
Yeah, right. Yeah, not exactly his fault, but a couple of those goals, you probably want those, but the ones that you probably want, it's, that was after the damage had already been done. Those first two were a little fucking just where the hell is everybody? And Bugner even calling it, men or boys amongst men. Cogliano saying that, we thought we were with them and that proved to be not the case. Like, we're not even close.
Right.
Which is telling yet distressing. And the thing that kind of has to be the kick in the boys is that Tampa had gotten embarrassed in Anaheim the night before. So you got Tampa on the second of back-to-backs, and it's not as if back-to-back, oh my God, like, look at the stats, it's not as if the stats out there say, a team that's traveling, playing on the second night of back-to-backs loses 90% of the, no, that is not the fucking case. Like, these guys, I think they're probably used to it by now. It's happened. This is not the first time that they've ever, oh my God, wait, we're on the road and we have to play 2 times in 2 nights? That can't be.
Yeah, it's like, that's the thing that makes me laugh, right? Is, there's a back-to-back, they have to play, in Tampa Bay's case, they got to play Anaheim, and then they have to take a 50-minute flight on a private jet to San Jose and play another game. Like, that's literally what they do for a living. It's not like it's not like you're going to a guy who works at the DMV and says, "Hey, can you build this rocket for me?" Like, You know, like,
telling you.
it's part of the job description.
Yeah.
Like,
We're used to it. You play hockey. What's wrong with playing a little more?
yeah.
Eric,
And I think pretty much every NHL player will tell you, and in my limited experience of playing in a hockey league, I'll tell you this too. Like, there's something there's kind of a weird sort of transition in your, like, I don't even, in the way you feel physically, but like, it almost seems like guys play better and play with more jump when they're shorthanded and have to play more.
I can see that. Yeah.
Like I've played in hockey games where it's like, yeah, okay, so you're playing 18 minutes a night, and it's like, oh man, like, good skate, I'm sweating, like, yeah, that was tough, but then we're short and it's like, okay, we need you to play 24, 25 minutes a night, and it's like, yeah, I'm buzzing, I can keep going. There's some kind of weird flip where it's like
it's like the runner's high, the second
exactly
wind.
where you have to play more, and it's almost like it comes around, and it's like you have more energy than had you played less in a weird way.
And of course, the news we hear before the Tampa Bay game is that Erik Karlsson is out yet again. I don't.
Poor guy.
What's he on, his fourth groin at this point? No, not that that's the case. I'm just saying
It's something in the upper, and apparently it's separate from what happened in the game against Detroit.
We'll see. I mean, I can't remember if it was Seattle or L.A. when he took that, where somebody tried to decapitate him.
Right. I think it kind of shows, like, I mean, does this not tell you how much Bob is leaning on Karlsson?
Does this not tell you how made of glass Karlsson is?
I don't think he's made of glass.
I don't want to say, that he's made of glass, but it's like, Burns plays some heavy fucking minutes, and he hasn't missed a game in like 8 years. I'm just saying.
For sure, but I think
maybe see Burns' nutritionalist, Eric.
I don't even, but I just think they play even, like, okay, yes, they're both offensive defensemen, but they play different games. Burns is more of kind of like,
did I say nutritionalist? What the fuck is a nutritionalist? I think I just meant nutritionist, but anyway.
Right, but like, where you think about Burns, it's like Burns gets to his spot and he sets up shop and he sort of commands the room from his spot, right? Versus Karlsson is going into the corner. He's dashing across the blue line. He's doing obviously they're both offensive defensemen, but Karlsson's game, I feel, even though Burns is a more physical guy, I feel like Karlsson's game is more physically wearing, if that makes sense. Where Karlsson is sort of chasing the puck and Burns is setting up shop and waiting for guys to get him the puck.
I feel that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, nothing went right for the Sharks in this one. But I will say,
honestly, if you told me that if you said, like, hey, this game never happened, like, it wouldn't change how I feel about the game. Like, they might as well have not played.
Yeah. Well, if the power play goes 0 for 2, and that was just like, it doesn't matter. It wouldn't have helped. Would not help. Now, from somebody who was at the game, I can give you just a quick couple of tidbits from it that I found rather funny. Tampa has a couple stupid fucking fans. There was this group of 4 fans that were had set up shop right behind. What side is it where the Sharks shoot twice? Or I'm sorry, the opposite. I'm sorry, where Tampa would shoot twice.
Oh, so that probably 217, 216.
Somewhere,
no, like 219, 220, 221.
Somewhere over there. Well, either way, okay. Here, I'll tell you this: if you are standing at the at center ice and you're looking at the bay where the Zamboni comes out, they were right on the glass, just to the left of where the Zamboni comes out, and there was 4 of them.
Gotcha.
And at least one, if not all 4, were all wearing blue Tampa jerseys. The name on the back said Cooch. It was KUUUUUUCH.
What's the deal with the nickname jerseys?
I don't know, but anyway, it was a.
Were they actual jerseys, or were they the China special?
No, they look like actuals. And there was 4. I think it was 1 dude and 3 girls.
Okay.
I don't know how much he paid those women to escort him there. No, I'm kidding. But holy crap, he was just. Have you ever seen that douchebag that's behind the glass at Dallas games holding up the bang sign? He was like more obnoxious than that.
Wow.
And he was just fucking just jawing people. Like I was when it was 4-0, I'm like, this guy is gonna get his ass kicked in the parking lot because he wouldn't shut the fuck up. And honestly, like, I'm not gonna say it's rightly deserved, but if someone comes up to you and says, hey, take it down a notch, you're up 4-0, relax. Like, we get it. 2-time cup winning, you're 2-time defending cup winners. Like, we get it. Your team, the team that you root for is good. The dude's out there with BDE like he's on the fucking team. You know what I mean?
Well, that's like how you always say. It's like, oh, what number do you wear? I didn't see you out there.
Yeah, but you're the first one talking smack. It's like, dude, take it down a notch. So, I didn't hear of anything in the news about a fan getting their shit kicked out of him after the game, but
there was no stabbing by the tank or anything.
Yeah, but either way, but let me also follow that up with every team has fans like this.
For sure.
Every team. But
and I'll let you in on a little secret. And maybe I'm biased because I am a Sharks fan, but I feel like Sharks fans have a lot of them.
From time to time.
Speaking as somebody who have seen the Sharks play in 4 buildings that aren't the tank, I think I'm pretty well versed on other teams' fans.
I know. The other thing that was that was rather noteworthy at the game is because it was Sharkie's birthday. They ran, during commercial timeouts and whatnot, they ran a lot of pre-recorded videos of people wishing Sharkie a happy birthday. You had, like, Raj and I don't know the other people, but the people from NBC Bay Area, like the anchor and the weather person and whoever. You had Brody and Curtis were thrown up there. It wasn't the same. It looked like it was a different video from what they actually aired in the post game or the pregame or whatever, but there was something there. There was, just a bunch of different ones. But boy, when they put Sam Liccardo, mayor of San Jose, on there, 2 things. First off, unceremoniously and loudly booed, which I can as a resident of San Jose for the last 15 years, I was like, yeah, I feel you. Big time. Do I feel you? But the thing is, like every other video was, hey, Sharkie, you don't look a day over 20 or whatever, or I was there when you were born at the Cow Palace and you're still the same little shit that you were back then, but these were like 10, 15 seconds. Dude, Liccardo rambled for like 2 fucking minutes. And it was to the point where he came on the screen, he was loudly booed to the point where people got tired of booing and then it got quiet. And then you heard him say, he rambled for another 10 seconds. And then people just started booing again because they were tired of hearing it. It was like, take it off already. And the other thing, the Reddit or Facebook or what, social media, there had been a lot of talk over like the last month and a half, people saying that, fuck, it is so loud inside the tank, like the DJ music, the voiceover from Emily and Danny is deafening. And I went to the game versus Seattle, and I'm like, sounds about right to me. Like, the music selection could be a little bit better for my taste, but volume-wise, I'm like, it sounds about right. You take it down a hair, but only because it's not a sold-out barn. If it's packed, all those bodies absorb it, it's going to be fine.
And that's the thing. The levels are probably set from, a full building.
Yeah, well, they may have made an overcorrection. Because I'll tell you, I couldn't hear a fucking word Emily was saying last night. Those pre-produced videos that they were playing on the screen, couldn't hear a word. It sounded like the teacher from Charlie Brown. Just womp, 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 womp. I couldn't hear any of it. The music was way low. Like, they're going to have to dial that in. Anyway, tickets sold for this one, 14,000. I think that's the most tickets sold for a game. I'd have to go back and look. Correct me if I'm wrong, people in the chat. if you have a hot minute, or jerk. Tickets sold, I think you can look at it on Hockey Reference. This might be the second, if not the second most tickets sold for the season, definitely third. Pretty sure opening night exceeded 14,000. But I thought there was one other game that might have been like 15,000. But
so, according to the internet, it looks like, in terms of top three, opening night for sure. The game against the Capitals on the 20th had high attendance. And then, the game against the Lightning on Saturday would be 3 in the top 3.
yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So, and it makes me wonder if we go back and look, November 20th, was there a giveaway that night? Let's see. I'm sure if you look at the Sharks Twitter, you go back to November 20th, they're going to be pumping something. Whether was that Hockey Fights Cancer Night? Where they're
that sounds right.
Yeah.
Actually.
So I'm thinking, okay, they were giving away jerseys that night. Well, last night, Either way, 14,000, top 3.
It was Hockey Fights Cancer. Good call.
So, see, there you go. So, proving that giveaways...
Who knows things?
proving that giveaways and maybe playing the 2-time defending Cup champs on a Saturday night can goose the ticket sales a little bit, even when a pretty big football game is happening concurrently.
Here's the thing, though. The Sharks, they don't care.
They care about ticket sales.
we sold. Yes, they care about ticket sales. But what I'm saying is, they don't care. They don't care about how many tickets they're not selling. They care about the tickets they did sell.
I would disagree with you simply because of the announcement that they made yesterday.
Okay, sure, but what I'm saying is, if they cared about the tickets they didn't sell as much as some people might think. By your logic, there would be a giveaway every game, right? Or there'd be a reason to show up, right?
Oh, in that regard. Well, yeah.
I mean, unless you're a true legitimate fan and you just want to watch your team, then there's no reason for you to show. But as we've talked about before, all year, dude, the people who are, yes, the building seats almost 18,000 and only 10,000 are showing up. But those are the real fans. Those are the people who support the team and they want to be there. Mm-hmm. The people who aren't there, fake fans. And if you're offended by that, there's a button next to my Twitter name. It says unfollow.
What? Okay, we're gonna get into this in a little bit. I want to cover this because there were some changes that were talked about yesterday, and so we're gonna. For those who give a shit, we're gonna talk about this whole attendance thing in a minute.
That'll be my snack break. Go ahead.
There you go. Let's get into you fucking asshole. Let's get into stock up, stock down. This is going to be a quickie. Look, I mean, Balsers, you had the 2 straight games, and it was like, oh, Rudy's coming back. There's no slander. And then fucking COVID. But you know what, Balsers, you're still in my stock up, buddy. Because when you were here, you were performing.
Yeah, I mean, he's like... he's out with the COVID, right? So it's not his fault.
I'm sorry,
right?
What do we call that? He got that Rona.
Right. Like, it's not,
I like it more when you do that. But.
His stock isn't down because he got COVID, right?
Yeah.
Like, 2 goals in 2 games. And we talked about it, dude. We said when Balsers comes back, that dam needs to break.
Yeah.
And it hasn't. And, obviously this is something that crossed my mind too, but with everything going on with the Sharks right now, I'm wondering how many haters are coming around on LeBanc. Like, I know he's had a bad year, but guy puts up points, and I think the Sharks could use that right now.
Yeah. I want to
stock up the ghost of LeBanc.
Ramon in the chat. So I live in Salinas, so making the drive for games is only some that I do a couple times a season. Completely agree. Again, we're gonna cover that in just a little bit here. So stay with us.
What I'm saying is, if you live as far away from the tank as AJ does, which is not far at all, and you say,
dude, 12 minutes door to door.
and you say, I don't want to go to the game because the Sharks haven't won for me, then go fuck yourself.
True that. Dude, I've been to, because of scheduling, and don't think that I haven't wanted to, but because of scheduling, I've only been able to make like 4 games this season. They've lost every one.
Maybe you shouldn't go.
Yeah, the ones that I haven't gone to, though, they haven't won all of those, so it kind of blows that theory out of the water.
Right. Yeah.
But if that was the case, I would stay away. I'd move to Timbuktu if that was the case. Also, stock up, obviously, Timo Meier makes history, 5-goal game.
Let me ask you a question real quick.
Fuck, man, you're not going to let me get through this quickly. Go ahead.
So I'm looking at the notes. You've got Hertl, you've got Meier on the stock up as well. Can we say stock up if they're already like at the ceiling?
Well, I mean, it's staying up.
Sure, that's fair. Okay, I'll give you that.
It's like,
I was thinking about.
has he taken his Viagra, his Cialis? Like, it's staying. It went up and it's staying up, and so we're just taking note that it's maintained a northern projection.
That's fair. Okay, all right, I'll give you that. All right.
All right.
Calm down. It's okay.
Hertl.
You don't have to fly off the handle like that.
Dude, why are you so pissy? Hertl, 4 assists versus LA. Hertl's goal versus Seattle was the 5th straight on the road for the Sharks. So Chief keeps coming, which again goes to the whole, man, imagine what this team could look like if they had more than one line that could score. Stock down.
Can I really quick? Can I interject?
Sure. It's not half your podcast, but go ahead.
49%.
60-40.
I think stock up. I think it's worth saying just really quick. Merkley.
Who?
Ryan.
No,
Ryan
Merkley, absolutely.
Because
he's staying around.
He's come in and he's stuck around, and it kind of corroborates what I was saying earlier, where the Sharks might be in a tasty little situation where they can trade Burns for some forward help, give Merkley those minutes. That might be the play. That's something we're going to talk about when we do the post-mortem on this team in a couple months. But I think stock up as well. Barabanov, I mean, he's only in the last 5 games, only 2 assists, which that's not very sexy at all, but came back from the COVID. And even the 2 games since he's come back from the COVID, he's looked good. He's been with Hertl and Meier, playing well. He's been with Couture and Noah Gregor. He's playing well. Like, he's he's just very versatile. And, like, how many guys on this team are we saying, yeah, it's not going in for them, but I feel like in terms of the guys who probably need a goal, Barabanov is at the top of my list for, the guys who are doing the most to get said goal, right? And so
I don't feel like Barabanov's gripping the stick so tight, though. I feel like he's still producing. You look at Gregor, and that guy's just like, he has a look on his face like every time he takes a shot and it doesn't go in, he's expecting to be like, when he gets back to the bench, somebody holding his Barracuda jersey up there going, time to change.
Dude, if I'm Noah Gregor, dude, as soon, and maybe you can transition us to stock down since he is on that list. If I'm Noah Gregor, the next time I score a goal, that stick is going in a wood chipper.
Dude, just give it away already. New stick every game. Just try it. But yeah, stock down, dude. Offensive defenseman. Like, okay, you had Burns with back-to-back games of 3 assists each. You had Carlson, 3 assists. How about a goal, guys? Like chipping a goal from time to time. Like you had a few games there where you had some assists. Totally appreciate that. But, dude, Erik Karlsson hasn't scored a goal. So, because remember, y'all, no goals since December 11th versus Dallas. So over a month. And remember, at that point, we're all talking about, we're like, oh, my God, this is the Erik Karlsson that we've all been waiting for. He's back, everybody. And since then, he's a -8. Vlasic's a fucking -5. Now, granted, ice time plays a key into that situation, blah, blah, blah. But the fact of the matter is we're all talking about Ike's back. He hasn't had a goal in like 5 weeks.
But 8 assists in 11 games.
That is nice. But it would be cool to get some get the occasional goal or two when we all know that this is a one-line team. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. For sure.
So With that, yeah. So my stock downs there. Peterson, you about to lose your job.
But you know what? Same thing as Timo Meier. Can you go any lower than the bottom? As I said last week,
I don't know.
somehow,
Can you all get the Arizona franchise on the phone? Find out.
As I said last week, though, somehow providing less than nothing. I don't know how.
Oh, dude, I love this comment from Logan Teal in the chat because it is so on brand.
That's epic. That is epic.
I don't want to talk about Tampa scoring 7. I really want to talk about Jacob Magnus scoring a goal. Curtis Brown, probably.
Yeah. Shout out to Logan. We're gonna provide you with this for that nice comment. Oh,
he's not wrong.
That's the requisite reaction for a doozy of a quip like that.
And stock down, look, Dahlin and Gregor. It's like,
yeah, dude.
It's like both of them got to find the back of the net, man. The Sharks need secondary scoring. They are not getting it. We need to get back to that point where, yeah, you need some guys healthy. Obviously, it would be nice to have Balsers back, but whew. You know, those pairs were working for a while. It was like Barabanov, Hertl, and whoever you throw up there. And then Dahlin and Couture, whoever you throw with him. And now it just seems to be like, okay, whatever line Meier's on, the other two are going to do good, and that's our only offense for the day. Thank you. Thank you for calling.
Check it out. So here's something interesting. So for Jonathan Dahlin, one goal in his last 22 games, which is...
Ugh.
It's brutal, right? And I'm not saying that this is the case. I'm just saying circumstances appear to line up a bit. So one goal in his last 22 games. The first game of that 22-game set, if you will, was the game he got hurt. Makes you think.
Ugh.
Does it not?
Oh, a little bit. So... where are we at for grade?
Where's it at?
Where it at? What had happened was
really quick. Stock down for me. I think you covered everybody.
There you go.
Brent Burns, just because he should be doing what he did against Philadelphia and Detroit at least every 3 games.
I would agree. So we've reached the halfway mark of the season. You know, game 42 last night against Tampa. So grades at the halfway point. Look, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's just kind of like, you know, Meier and Hertl, A. Like, Hertl is, I think, what we thought he was going to be at the beginning of the season, perhaps exceeding that. Meier completely exceeding where most thought he was going to be.
Don't disrespect me by lumping me in with the people who didn't expect this.
Well, you know what I'm saying, though. I'm telling you, like, you know, based on the previous 2 seasons.
I had him. This is right where I had. According to my sheet.
Dahlin, I want to say, I don't know, like, I guess C, just because it, like, had a hot start, was looking good, and it tailed off over the last 6 months. Now, is this a case of like the NHL schedule kind of laying him to waste a little bit?
I think I still think he's
due for a bounce back.
Ultimately I think he's going to end up, you know, having a good finish to the season. I think he's still trying to work through some situation with the shoulder. But here's the thing with a guy with Dahlin. It's like 1 goal in the last 22 games. It's like, obviously that's not ideal, but you like, the only way that he's going to, you know, strike the match, if you will, and get back on track is if you keep him up in the lineup. Like, putting him on the 4th line is useless.
Barabanov, I think both
B+.
of us. Yeah, exactly. Okay.
It would be an A if he had more goals.
Yes. Couture.
A.
Really? I had him at like B-.
I mean, I think B- to an A I think is a bit negligible, but, you know, I would say if his line mates were scoring more, I think it would be an A because he would probably have more points. But I've liked Couture this year. Same thing, you know, people were weirdly turning on him because of last year, and it's like, well, let's just hold on a second because there's still more to see here. You know what? I'm sticking with it. Couture, A.
Okay.
Fight me on Twitter.
Fanatical TLB. I almost sold my Timo merch. Not even kidding. What a turnaround. I'm going to say.
Coward.
No, what was it?
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. No, what was it? Remember, I had a stealth Adidas Indo Timo jersey.
I still have mine.
See, well, I had mine. I got it signed in I want to say 5-6 months ago. I think this happened before the season even started, that I actually sold it. But it was because, first off, I've become, because of my time spent with Hockey Jerk and Puck Guy, I've become a bit of a jersey snob.
Sure.
And so it's like, if it's not made in Canada, it ain't, if it ain't pro stock, it ain't shit. I don't want it in my collection. For those of you who like Indo jerseys and Fanatics jerseys, hey, rock your world. But for me, I don't want that shit in my closet. So I was like, and somebody gave me a very nice offer on it. So I was like, yeah, I will make that happen. And now I got to tell you, after those 5 goals, I was like, But I'm like, well, hey, can always make more. Cogliano and Bonino. I don't know, C-.
I give Cogliano a B.
So we're not okay. Fuck the pluses and minuses. We're just going straight letters. Yes, I appreciate that. So for me, I think I might go Cogliano B, Bonino C.
Yeah, I would do that. I think with Bonino, you want more goals, right? And I think, but even then, dude, the more I'm thinking about it, actually, hot take, I want to give Cogliano an A, because guy kills penalties. He's not getting victimized really at all defensively, and I like
what he brings to the room and the honesty on the calls.
That too is obviously a factor. Yes, he is -8, but you know what? That's a product of the Sharks not being a great team in certain elements. But here's the thing about Cogliano. So 4th line guy, yes. And he's making $1 million.
Not playing 4th line right now.
Should be 4th line.
Yeah. Dude, for me, the entire line should be 4th line.
I still think Bonino is a 3rd center, but he needs better wingers. Anyway, a guy like Andrew Cogliano.
Put Bonino out there with LeBanc and Balsers.
Or Gregor.
Yeah, true. Go ahead.
I think for Cogliano, the type of in a Stanley Cup team, which some will argue whether or not the Sharks are, but let's just say, he's making $1 million. Should be on your 4th line. I think a player like that, 1 goal per month is more than fair.
Absolutely.
And this is the 4th month of the season, and he's got 3 goals. So you'd like to see a goal here before the end of January, but for me, Cogliano was right where I expected him to be.
All right. Nieto. I mean, B?
C Cogliano.
Oh, all right.
I mean, maybe not an A because he's -15, but yeah, probably B.
VL. I give him you know what? I'm kind of bopping between A and B. Like,
yeah, but this is...
I like what he's brought. It's the whole thing. It's like, are you doing what we expect of you? And for me, for VL, I think he is. I think he's reaching that bar most nights.
That's probably fair. Yeah, I would say C, B, somewhere in that neighborhood.
Weatherby, 10 games into the season, I would have said A. Now C.
Somewhere between C and D for me.
Yeah, but 10 games in, I was like A. A. Raska for me, that's an incomplete.
Yep.
In fact, I don't even
TBD.
know. Yeah, and in fact, I don't even know that there's really any more forwards to even discuss at this point. It's like
I think Peterson and Gadjevich F.
Oh yes, absolutely. Like,
and I
don't think it's worth bringing up like Nick Merkley. I don't,
Yeah, incompletes. What about LeBanc?
Who?
Because I mean, like rough.
But even before then, no. For me, it's D, F. Now let me also put a little stank on that, where when I say that, it goes back to something Jerk was saying earlier. It's like, well, who's he playing with? He's not being given the most talent.
That's the thing. And we talked about this before. LeBanc, LeBanc is a guy. He doesn't go to get the puck. People need to get the puck for him. So some players do one, some players do the other. That's fine.
LeBanc with Barabanov and Couture could be interesting.
Yeah, or even Balsers. Balsers is a guy who works hard. In that respect. some guys get the puck, some guys receive the puck. LeBanc is a receiver, and he's not playing with any givers.
Did we talk about Balcers? I don't know. B. Like when he's been in, I think he's been good.
Yeah, B, but he's also kind of suffered from the jam job a little bit.
Yeah, I would agree. Defense, Ferraro, A.
A.
I mean, leads and block shots, just fucking positive, super positive, keeps the team together. Glue guy, future captain.
Only -1.
Yeah. Burns.
C-.
Shit!
No,
all of a sudden, you're
C+.
throwing in the pluses and the minuses.
Only because I think the reason is a bit kind of ticky-tacky. The points are there, and you know what? -1, so who am I to say? But, like, defensively, I kind of feel like it's gone the other way again.
So you're giving him a C?
Yeah, probably a C.
Yeah.
Maybe you can, if
I'd say B or C.
You get a couple drinks into me, maybe I can give him a B-.
All right. Vlasic, F.
D.
Oh, okay. Shimmick, F.
D+.
Middleton, A.
A.
Absolutely. Carlson, I'd say
B+.
See, I was leaning towards A. Simply because, again, I'm kind of like looking what had happened the previous 2 seasons.
What had happened was.
So if you look at what he'd done the previous 2 seasons, like you take out the stretches where he's been injured, there's been a couple games where clearly, Seattle included, where clearly Chief is not 100%. Now,
you know who has those games though?
Everybody. But the thing is that sometimes it seems to be when it's like Carlson is either 100%, and if he's not 100%, it's 50%. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, okay, I'd give Carlson a B, simply based on that. Magna, for me, A, because, like, who's this guy? But he's been able to step in, play solid minutes in Middleton's absence.
Mm-hmm. That's fair.
What you got him at an A too, or incomplete for you?
He's kind of teetering. He's played well when he's come in, but aside from the COVID stretch and then this current stretch, it's been 2 kind of pockets, if you will. Like, you can't really grade him over the entire season.
Fair. Ryan Merkley, incomplete or?
Based on the games played, yeah, incomplete. But based on what he's done in that small period of time, I would say an A.
All right. And then I don't think that we need to go beyond that, Milosh or Blickfeld or anybody, barely seen any of them. Goalies. I don't know. For me, Hill.
C+.
See, I was thinking C-. Reimer.
B+.
See, I was thinking B-.
Well,
we're in the same area.
Sure.
At the very least, we have them both valued the same when compared against each other.
Right.
So there we go with the grades. And then special teams, look, power play is a D-, F, and penalty kill is A.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yep.
So, look, quickly on. Oh, any changes in the module this week? Probably.
Module.
Did Meier rocket to the top if he wasn't already there?
So, Meier and Hertl, they are tied in terms of actual goals. Hertl with the slight advantage in the Module score, just because he has 11 of his 21 are high value versus Meier 9 of his 21 are high value. But your top 3 is still the same: Hertl, Meier, Couture.
Makes sense.
Other than that, nothing has really changed. Carlson and Dahlin still round out the top 5. Bonino still in the same spot. Barabanov. Balcers, he had 2 goals here, this past week. One of them being a mid-value goal. One of them being actually, his first goal was the previous week. So we're not going to use that. But mid-value goal builds on what he did last week. So Balcers did actually move up the rankings a little bit. He is now 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8th on the module. He did pass Burns with his goal against the LA Kings. So we'll see. I think this is going to, Balcers, he had the injury, he had the COVID. I think this is going to be the Balcers redemption season or half season or comeback season, whatever you want to call it.
With any luck?
I think, I'm willing to, if you want to put another $5 on it, we can talk about it. I think, because I think Hertl, Meier, Couture, that's going to stay your top three. Carlson, Dahlin, we'll see. But Bonino at 6, I think Bonino at 6, he's got a target on his back, and his name is Balcers.
I would agree.
I would give it, I'm going to say, bold prediction right here for you. Write this down on your little piece of paper. The Sharks have 3, 4 games before the All-Star break.
Mm-hmm.
Put it on your prediction sheet. Balcers is going to get to 6th in the module after those 4 games.
All right.
Which means he will need 4 more module points. That could easily be 2 goals.
I feel you. Yeah,
depending on
couple
when
game
they
winners.
go in.
Yeah.
A game winner and an empty netter, and we're in there.
Ugh. Well, let's finish out these stats then. Power play right now, 17%, 22nd in the league. Not great. Penalty kill, 9th at 83%. So that's
Love it.
That's decent. Both those numbers together, right at 100%. That's where you need to be or above if you want to try to be in the playoffs. And they're barely there. So we'll see what happens. I mean, the PK over the last 5, 9 of 10, 90%, not too shabby. Sharks remain 10th in the league where they've been seemingly in the entire year on face-off percentage. But things get a little squirrely with Hill and Reimer. Goals against for Hill, his stat line is 2.78. Save percentage 901.
Better than Martin Jones last year.
But not better than Martin Jones currently, who's at a 902.
Doesn't matter. He's not on the team.
Yeah, I know. I feel you. Oh, boy. Reimer is at a 914 with a 2.83 goals against. And Reimer has a better record. 12-8-1. Hill, 9-11-1.
Pretty solid save percentage, too.
914? Absolutely. And remember, that has last night's drubbing. Like what did Reimer finish with? Something in the 600s? Like, how did he get out of there? Like at 683 or something?
Yeah, last night Reimer's save percentage was 692.
Oof. So, and still, you factored that in. Chief still has a 914.
Imagine, when they were...
Which last I looked is like 20 better than Jones did the previous 3 years.
Well, I was going to say, you remember when Bob was flipping between the goalie, alternating goalies as opposed to doing the hot hand? I wonder what Reimer's record would look like and what the Sharks' record would look like is if he ran with Reimer more while Hill was struggling.
Oh, I couldn't agree with you more. Oh, God, that would have been nice. So, we're already running way long, and there's so much more to get to. Coming up this week, the next time we talk to you again next Sunday, we're going to be catching you. Oh, shit. Hold on. Next Sunday, 3. Yes. Okay. The Niners game will be over by then. Okay. We're good. Next Sunday, we're going to be catching you up on 3 games as the Sharks face the Capitals in Washington on Wednesday, who are in a bit of a lull.
They're my pick for the Sharks' second win in our wager.
This is true. And only 3-4-2 in January. However, Capitals are the only team besides the Rangers and the Canadiens. Of course, the Rangers doing it twice, but Caps are a part of that group of teams to shut out the Sharks this season.
Mm-hmm.
We shall see what happens. I should also ask you before we move on, are you giving Canucks the side-eye right now?
This is a teaser for everybody to stick around, but after the podcast's over, we might have a little stream party in the Discord.
Hey now!
1-1, second period just started.
And dude, Fanatical Teal Bleeder making a decent point too. The Sharks are robbing Reimer of the Vezina this year. Dude, because he was looking so good for a while there. But anyway, the Sharks then, after Washington, will head to South Florida to face Joe Thornton and the NHL's top Eastern Conference team.
Yeah, I'm not going to watch that game.
Florida Panthers, who are 8-1-1 in their last 10. They are a buzzsaw. That is if Thornton plays. We'll see if he does, because it seems like he's been playing only like every other game or so. Florida only has 3 losses at home this season. Fun fact, though, this is going to be the first time the Sharks are playing against a team with Jumbo on their roster since November 6th, 2003. So, dude, that's a long time ago. And that game, of course, against the Bruins in Boston, Jumbo had 2 assists in that game. Meanwhile, his cousin, Scott Thornton, playing for the San Jose Sharks, had 2 goals in what would end in a 5-5 tie. Currently, the Panthers are playing Seattle. Do you get the side eye on that?
Yes, I do. It's currently 4-3 Kraken, 12 minutes to go in the game.
Are you fucking kidding me? Who's the Seattle team all of a sudden? Wait a minute. Didn't Seattle get their shit pushed in like 2 nights ago after San Jose by somebody?
Yeah, I think so. They, oh, geez. It was, they lost five bagel to the Blues.
To the Blue. Oh, yeah. Okay, anyway. Then the Sharks see the Hurricanes, Metro Division's top team by points percentage. The Sharks beat the Hurricanes back on November. Boom. 2-1 in overtime. And where did those goals come from? LeBanc and Barabanov in OT.
Some couple of module darlings there, so
yes,
we'll keep an eye on that.
The Canes host the Devils the night before, so we get a little bit of that. Oh, but they played the night before bullshit. But the Canes are 13-4-1 at home, so another buzzsaw awaits the Sharks. Mm-hmm. But here's the fun part about all of this, because we're sitting here talking about, Tampa, then Washington, then Florida, then Carolina, then Tampa. I love how some people in the media have just now picked up on this, whereas we've been talking about this for like 3 weeks. Have I not been mentioning the buzzsaw of this? I mean, we have a bet on it, for fuck's sakes.
Yeah, you keep talking about it.
This is what I'm saying. So I just find it funny that the media now is suddenly jumped all over it. So let me tell you now what the talking point is going to be in about a week or so. It's going to be that starting Valentine's Day, that 9 of 12 are going to be against the Pacific Division.
Huge.
Massive. This is because right now, look, I don't mean to be to paraphrase Brent Burns. I don't mean to be a dick, but right now the Sharks are 21-19-2. They've got 4 games that I have money on that they're going to lose. I don't want them to lose it. I'm more than happy to cough that money up. Not a problem, but I'm a realist. I play the numbers. The numbers tell me that the Sharks, aside from the Washington game, which Jerk has called out, that is the one that I was kind of like, that could be the game that fucks me. But, I'm a betting man, and I play the numbers. To me, Florida, Carolina, and Tampa, those are 3 straight losses.
Okay. Even
if the Capitals game goes your way, right? Last time I looked, that means they're coming back 22-22-2. That, my friend, is not a playoff team. So
it'll make those division games even more important.
Exactly my point. So that's why I'm saying, like, that's going to be the talking point here once the team returns on February 2nd after that game against Tampa. That's what everybody's going to be talking about, is that stretch in the Pacific Division, how important it is, because they clearly are. But here's the thing. The Sharks then have 4 games after that stretch is completed. The Sharks will have 4 games before the trade deadline, one of them coming against the LA Kings. So another divisional game in there. And, by odd scheduling quirk, the Sharks will play LA 3 of 4 games over 7 days.
And for anybody who cares, that March 10th game in LA, I will be there.
Hey now.
Getting some boots in enemy lines, or behind enemy lines.
So the Sharks are going to know what they have by the end of that stretch, right?
That's
the 9 of 12.
That's the thing. We've been talking about, the Sharks waiting until the absolute last minute to decide if they're in or they're out on this season. That's when the Sharks will know. Like, when it gets to the trade deadline, the Sharks are not going to be a fringe team. They're either going to be in the playoffs or they're going to be in the lottery. They're not going to be on the fringe.
Yeah. So, I guess at this point, what do you do?
You're waiting to the last minute. So ask me again in 6 weeks.
Okay, then let me ask you it this way. say 6 weeks from now,
Mm-hmm.
the Sharks are third, completely hypothetically, the Sharks are third in the Pacific Division. They're, I don't know. Again, hypothetically, say they're 4 points behind Calgary, 6 points behind Vegas. They're fifth in the wild card. But the teams behind them, you've got, say, LA 1 point behind you. And you have, say, Edmonton has figured it out, and they're 3 points behind. What do you do? I mean, it just my point being is that I feel like the Sharks at this point, it's purgatory, it's limbo, we're too good to tank, but we're too bad to be a contender.
I still stand by what I said 2 weeks ago. If LeBanc doesn't want to sign an extension,
LeBanc.
Sorry, I'm so sorry. I was reading something else.
I'm like,
Hertl,
isn't he signed for like another 2 years?
Yeah. If on March the 21st, if Hertl does not want to sign an extension, trade him.
And I believe Buddy Shang was talking, was it Friedman, was it LeBrun, something about there may be a little something brewing on that front, that Hertl, the Sharks may be throwing some sort of sheet in front of him that says, hey,
yeah,
we'd really appreciate it if you put your John Hancock on here.
Yeah, Shang was saying that the Sharks are getting ready to formally offer Hertl an extension.
Can they do Barabanov at the same time, please?
So I'm glad you met that up because Shang was talking about this. Shang mentioned this. Yeah, jerk, watching the pregame show. I know. Shang mentioned on the pregame show that it seems like Barabanov has made it known what his preference on an extension is. He, according to Shang, which I trust Shang, pretty smart guy, Barabanov is interested in the Robbie Fabry extension.
And what's the deets on that?
It would be $4 million a year for 3 years. Given what he's done, I know it's,
I don't hate that.
I think if you trade LeBanc, it looks even sexier.
I was going to say, what is LeBanc making right now?
LeBanc is at 4.725.
And he got that for 4 years, correct?
Yeah.
And Barbie wants 3x4?
Yeah, 3 years, $4 million a year.
Yeah, I mean, dude,
I'd sign it.
I'm saying he's playing top six.
Well, that's the thing.
Let me say this though. I only do the deal with Barabanov if I have Hertl in my pocket, because those two seem to really work well together.
Oh yeah, dude, we've talked about it before. Hertl and Barabanov. Oh, let's put Meier there. Let's put Balcers there. Let's put Jaden Halbgewachs there. It's fine, no problem, whatever.
Yeah, I'm thinking you don't do that Barabanov deal unless Hertl's locked.
But what this tells me, couple things here. Number one, this tells me Barabanov wants to come back, which I think people were a little sus about. So that's obviously encouraging. Number two, whatever you believe about this team, if you think that they're a couple pieces away, or you think they need to strip it to the bolts, or you're somewhere in between, whatever you think about this team, if the people who run the team believe the Sharks, if the people who run the team believe that the best play is to try and make the playoffs, which I agree with that. I think the play is to try and make the playoffs. You need a guy like Barabanov.
Mm-hmm.
However you feel about where this team is or where they're going, the plan is to try and compete. You need Barabanov to try and compete. You also need Hertl to try and compete, but that's a different conversation.
Yeah. Well, excuse me. It goes back to the thing where the Sharks are tickling my ass with a feather. You have a game like LA and you go, oh man, maybe they could, maybe this is the thing of them turning the corner, a very Curtis Brown way to put it. Like, oh, this could be a sign of things to come. And then what happens? You lose to the worst team in your division, and then you get absolutely embarrassed in your own building by a team who played the night before in SoCal. Again, the whole back-to-back thing means shit. But and you talk about handing out cookies. Did I not tweet like after Anaheim embarrassed Tampa, and I'm like, oh man, Tampa's going to come into SAP on hella tilt.
Yeah, that is a thing you said, and that is a thing that happened.
I'm telling you. So it just makes me wonder, though, how shitty is this Pacific Division? Like, there's a part of me that I'm sitting here going, man, if the Sharks, I'm afraid that, like, the Sharks could finish third in this division by, like, a point, and people are going to get excited and go, oh, look, San Jose's actually pretty good. They made the playoffs. And it's like, dude, Calgary, Edmonton, and Anaheim are circling the fucking drain and have been since the break. Now, Calgary and Edmonton both have a shit ton of games in hand, so they can make that up. And as I said before, I think the only way the Sharks make the playoffs is by finishing in the top 3. I don't think there's any way they make a wild card. I think that's going to be filled out by Central Division teams. You've got all these upcoming divisional games, and we've already said that's going to be the key. So, and the other thing, of course, being LA, this is how bad things are in the Pacific, people. LA is the only team with a winning record over their last 10, and before earlier today, they were on a 3-game losing streak. They beat New Jersey about an hour or so ago, just before we went on the air. But they have a winning record, and they're on a 3-game losing streak. This is how horrible the Pacific is. Here's another way that I know I'm right. Go look at the stats, the goalie stats. Did you know that Reimer and Aiden Hill have better stats than all 3 Las Vegas goaltenders? See, the thing is, Leonard can sit there and have shitty numbers because he actually has more than one line in front of him producing.
Mm-hmm.
The Pacific is a shit show. So that's why I'm sitting here going, oh, my God. Like, you almost don't want the Sharks to get in because they're going to get fucking destroyed in the first round. No Pacific Division team, by way of points percentage, is even in the top 12 in the league. I'm talking about Vegas. They have 1 regulation win in January, and they're the number 1 team in the Pacific.
Worth mentioning, too, if the Sharks do make the playoffs, that will be extra revenue for the team, and as we know, money is really important right now. Worth mentioning.
I hate that.
I hate it. I hate it, too, but that doesn't make it wrong.
You're right. But, yeah, it's the problem is they're a one-line team.
And too, if the Sharks make the playoffs, all these fake fans who live 5 minutes away from the tank and don't go to the game, they're going to be the first one to get tickets.
I feel seen and insulted by that comment. What? No. What's the difference between a reset and a rebuild, though? I mean, the ticket sales are way down. We've been talking about that for, 2-3 seasons now. You can't blame this shit on COVID and mandates. The Warriors are selling out, and they have arguably more strict rules happening there. Mm-hmm. And so you can't blame it on that. Is it a thing? Is it because the product on the ice has been shit for the last 2 years? And isn't that great this season? I mean, that's what I would lean to. I think an educated person that's been following this team for as long as we have would kind of take it to, where does this clue lead me to? There we are.
Mm-hmm.
And Becker's quoted as saying, it would be hard for me to sell a 3-year season ticket plan to somebody and say, oh, by the way, we plan not to be good for the next 3 or 4 years. I get that. But what if you aren't good? I mean, it just drives me crazy where, first off, 2 things. Doug Wilson never wants to say the word rebuild. Where are we at right now? Because Doug Wilson also said last summer that we're not as far away as people think. Sir, you are 2 points better than where you were at this point last season.
With a worse team worth mentioning.
Yeah. Well, okay. I will give you that. Now, I think Bob Bugner needs to get some credit for that.
Bobby!
But again, I think also the resurgence of Timo Meier and Erik Karlsson need to get some credit for that. Mm-hmm. Hertl needs to get some credit for that as well. But for all those changes that were made, you're only 2 points better. And I guarantee you, I'm going to run these numbers between now and next week, as I've been doing every week. If the Sharks, in fact, go 0 for 4 over their next 4 games, which is what I have on my scorecard, I'm going to bet that when we meet up next Sunday, the record after 46 games last season is going to be better than where they are now after 46 games. I haven't run the numbers. It's either going to be the same or it's going to be worse. That's what I would have. We'll see. But I mean, is it finally in time to embrace a rebuild, or do we just keep putting a bigger bandage on a mortal wound?
I mean, look at the contract. I mean,
it's the contracts that. Well, see, but I like what you were saying earlier. It's like, look, we're getting to that point after those 9 of 12 are in the Pacific. Can you find somebody who's going to take Brent Burns?
I think so.
Can you find somebody who's going to take Brent Burns without eating a good amount of his salary?
But even if you have to eat the salary, like, that's not the end of the world.
Not the end of the world.
You're still going to get assets back that'll help you. And like, I know people
but as soon as you move a big ticket like that, you would think that Hertl's going to be next then.
In terms of re-signing him?
No. That Hertl's going to be the next one out the door.
Not necessarily, because that's the thing. Like how you talked about retool versus rebuild, whatever you know.
So what do you think they're looking to get back for Burns? Is some help in the middle six?
I would do a hockey trade. Like I would try and move Burns.
You need help on defense. We need help at forward. Let's make a deal.
Exactly. Because here's the thing. I think the Sharks can do, like, I know people think the Sharks need to rebuild.
I feel like the team getting Burns is going, wait a minute, we said we wanted defense.
Right. But, like, you think about it. I think the Sharks, like, okay, so you've got Couture. This is what you asked what a retool is. Basically, you establish what your core is, and you keep those core guys, and you build around the periphery. You look at during the
I got words.
Look at the 2010s, right? And Kevin Lacey bringing up a point. Dallas is getting ready to trade John Klingberg. I bet they'd love to have somebody replace him.
Yeah, but isn't that because Klingberg wants out of there?
Well, he's a pending UFA, so he basically told them trade me or sign me.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Oh, I thought from everything I had read, it was like I want to get the fuck out of here. Not that.
No, it's trade me or sign me.
It's okay. Put a ring on it or tell me to fuck off. I got it.
Right. I think. You look at the 2010s, the Chicago Blackhawks, those 3 Stanley Cups. I know, obviously, there's a lot of stink that comes with them, and rightfully so. Mm-hmm. But look at the, Taves, Kane, Keith, Seabrook, Patrick Sharp, Marian Hossa, Nick Hjalmarsson. You have your core, and then each Stanley Cup win, the periphery is a little bit different. And that's not to say that the Sharks are going to win 3 cups in the next 6 years here, but you can do where it's like, okay, we've got, I think you keep Couture, Meier, try to keep Hertl, keep Erik Karlsson, but honestly, and from there, I think everybody else you can sort of trade, move the periphery around a little bit while keeping your core kind of set and go from there. Because, I mean, like, you're not getting rid of Vlasic. You're stuck with that, right? Karlsson, even though he's been good, you're not getting rid of that.
Are you stuck with Vlasic if once everybody is healthy? Knyzhov, Middleton, all the pieces. You've got if Merkley continues to get better as time marches on. Once everybody is healthy, and for all we know, that could happen in a month. Mm-hmm. Middleton evidently is a little kind of hit and miss right now with the concussion stuff. Hopefully, we see him within the next week or two. Knyzhov is a little different. We haven't even heard any updates.
I don't think he plays this year.
I would agree. But what if it gets to the point where, like, everybody's healthy next season? If Merkley continues to stay on the path of the righteous, mm-hmm. Where's the spot that you put Vlasic? If people are performing ahead of him, is his willingness to leave San Jose all of a sudden increased exponentially?
I mean, that's the thing. Vlasic's been pretty dug in. I signed here. I want to be here. I don't care if we go 0-82, right? But at the same time, and this goes for everybody, right?
Well, don't you want to play hockey?
Well, that obviously, and it would take. I think it would take some big balls from Bob Bugner to scratch Vlasic regularly, but I also think Bob Bugner's got those big balls to do that.
I would agree. It's
But-
like, dude, I'm going to pay you $7 million a year to watch hockey from the penalty or from the press box.
And so that's the thing is, you know,
Like, do you want to finish your career? Do you want that to be your legacy as you finish up your career, or do you want to like go compete for a cup?
right. And like I said, Vlasic has been very insistent. You know, I signed here. I want to be here. I don't care if we're bad, essentially. But at the same time, like, people want to be where they're wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And if the Sharks went to Vlasic and said, "Hey, we hate you, go away," why? Not that they would, but that's obviously an extreme example. But why would he stay if he was told that?
That's what I'm saying.
Well, we'll see. I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I don't. You know, I mean, maybe the Sharks do need to do a full rebuild, and I am naive. But I don't know. I think with I mean, Couture is still good. Erik Karlsson is still good, right? Like, you know, I think if the Sharks, like, you know, they got rid of Kane, that's gone, right? They're gonna have to figure something out with Vlasic, and if they can trade Burns and get some help up front, who's to say they can't kind of rebuild that periphery a little bit while keeping the core set? And maybe that's a playoff team. Not a division winner, but maybe it's a playoff team.
I'm just like looking at where the roadmap leads me right now, and it just seems like a lot of the same, which is, you know, not very good.
Here's the thing, like, the Sharks have had cap space all year. Why haven't they done anything to make the team better? You know what I mean?
Yeah, is it because they don't think there's enough there? You know what I mean? Like, I mean, that's a great question.
I feel like that kind of clashes with the point I was making, but it's a question worth asking.
Yes.
You know, and that's not to say. I mean, I'm
be prepared to hear media talk about that in about a week.
Right, and you know, I've been said. Wow, we are going
What?
way too long.
Are those words?
I've been saying that if there's a trade situation where you get a player who's young and you have him for many years, yeah, trade some prospects or picks for that young player who you're going to have for a while, right? But at the same time, why? Like, I like what the Sharks did in unrestricted free agency, but it makes you wonder, you know, and probably the uncertainty with Kane has something to do with it, but I'm surprised that the Sharks didn't try and swing something for somebody kind of a bigger deal.
No. I mean, if there's something that we could make a deal with Dallas, Burns to Dallas, Burns obviously loves it in Texas, got his ranch there, got his Pavelski there.
I mean, it makes a lot of sense because
It does.
as Kevin pointed out, the Stars are going to trade Klingberg, but that doesn't mean they want to get rid of him, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So they could use a player like Burns. He's a minute muncher. He scores a lot of points. Maybe getting Burns, Pavelski will want to re-sign there, and it can work out for them.
Yeah, I just like it's like I want to be excited. But you know, the Sharks, just based on their choices with the contracts and everything, I just look at the roadmap and I go, it's hard for me to be super excited right now. Not to mention the fact where it's like you have this amazing deficit on the top six. Like and again, we've talked about this before. That is this a one-line team? Hertl straight up coming out during media sessions a couple weeks ago. We can't be a one-line team. Guess what? That's exactly what you are proving yourselves to be right now. It's almost as if, wow, if only there was another piece that the Sharks had to tap into, say, playing in Sweden or something. They could help out
Makes you think.
offensively. Yeah. Which, again, you're talking about the amount of space. You're talking about help that they could immediately call over, yet they're not doing these things.
Well, the problem is since they sent Eklund over, I don't believe they can take him back until his season is over. Kevin, I'm sure, will fact check me on that, but that sounds right.
Yeah, but we understand how to kidnap people.
Oh, my God.
But you know what I'm saying? It's just,
Right.
It just seems like there's some things that the Sharks could, they had the ability to do. They have not done it, which, again, a realist, someone who is provoked by thought is going to go, well, or what is it? What's the theory? The Occam's razor. You know,
The simplest explanation is most likely the correct one.
yeah. Where to me, it's just kind of like there have been moves to be made. There could be and they haven't been made. So it just feels like, nope, we're just gonna use this similar like 2015, where we're going to give some of these young guys, whether it's a Weatherby, whether it's a Hobgawaks, name a guy who Raska, Merkley, Milosh, Magna, whoever. We're going to use this year to try to identify even more what we have in the pipeline, then maybe make some changes. But I don't know, man, that Hertl deal is just flickering like a, just like a siren in the night. Just Hertl, like what's going to happen? But I feel like we went on way too long. So let's wrap it up. Yesterday, Sharks announced that we're talking about all this ticket stuff. The Sharks announced renewals are going out to the season ticket holders. It would appear that ticket prices are going to be lowered. Excuse my skepticism, but prices rarely go down unless the demand does, which ticket sales have shown clearly has. You can debate amongst yourselves whether it's COVID or mandates or blah, 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 like we mentioned before. That said, you know what? The ticket price is really not tripping me. It's the price of a beer. It's the price of, $25 to park seems excessive. I get 15 I could go with. 25 seems excessive. $16 for a beer when you can, drink at the bar that's a block away from the tank and have a much higher quality beer for less than half the price. The beer prices are excessive. This is not exclusive to the Sharks. This is sports and concert venues across the board. $18 for a slice of pizza or whatever it is. Like the food and bev prices are, for me, is one of the keys. And then you see like SAP is like, we're only going to allow you to bring in a wallet from now on. Now, obviously I'm being extreme, but they went from, you can have a nice clear bag and you can bring in food. And now it's like, you can bring in a fanny pack that's, 5 by 9 by 2. That's it. That's hard to fit a sub sandwich into one of those things. So it's either way.
I'll tell you what, if the Sharks want to get asses in seats, they need to
give away jerseys. Play Tampa every week.
No, they need to get to that. They need to get to that concession pricing that the Atlanta Falcons are working with.
Oh, you right, dude. You right. But yeah, I mean, Lacey even bringing up, like, you won't even buy a bottle of water there because, like, a bottled water is like $8. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
I'm and again, this is not exclusive to SAP. This is just across the board. You look at the price for food and bev, the parking, and alcohol. Look, I've worked in the bar industry for 30 years. I'm fully aware of what the profit margin and markup is on booze.
Oh, it's insane.
Oh, it's, I mean, you can tell just based on the fact of like, well, let's see here. Like, I can go and get a 4-top, a 4-pack of like some pretty good beers, something like this Altamont here, #no free ads, but this Hella Hoppy is a very good beer. And I can get 4 of these for what, $17? Or I can get 1 Coors at the tank for like the same price. When you factor in a tip, because we're all being tip shamed to death.
Speak for yourself. I see that tip screen come up. I hit no tip and I move on with my life. You'll get a tip if you serve me food or you cut my hair.
Hey now, Alden calling out, half the price of a motherfucking beer at the tank will get you a 6-pack at whole paycheck.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not right. And again, I'm not calling out the Sharks specifically or SAP. Like, this is a problem across all concert and sports venues.
It's an epidemic, whether you like sports or concerts or shows or amusement parks. It's everywhere.
Yeah. In fact, you know what? Somebody did a thing not too long ago. They said, you know what the biggest profit margin is for movie theaters? You want to take a guess?
Oh, popcorn.
Yeah.
Easy.
They said the profit margin that movie theaters make back is like over 1,000%.
Well, yeah, dude, it's $9 for a thing of popcorn, and it's probably $9 for a frickin' semi trucks full of kernels.
Yeah. No, it's amazing. So it's like, look, I get it. Like, you know, you have to make money, but like, don't, you know, when all of a sudden you're sitting there with your thumb up your ass going, I don't understand why food and beverages, why the sales are lower or why they're trending downward. And it's like, well, shit, could there be a direct correlation with the prices that you keep increasing them every season? I think there might, you know, and you know, somebody had pointed out on social media where, they set the prices that high so people won't get hammered inside the event. And I almost fell over from the stupidity of that comment. It's like, oh, do you think that there aren't bars within blocks of venues that you can go get hammered at? Do you think that people aren't showing up in their vehicles with six-packs in the back seat to get hammered in the car before they get, like, give me...
I was going to say, what's stopping you from getting buckled in the parking lot?
Exactly. Like, that was just like, okay, that's a comment that clearly hasn't been thought out all the way. Like, that made no sense. Like, if you're going to sit there and say, well, they cut off alcohol sales at the 7th inning or after the second intermission or whatever, because they want to limit the access to booze because they don't want people to, like, lose it, or they don't want people to potentially drive home drunk. You know, they want to give them some time for the booze to wear off a little bit. That I'll give you. But to sit there and go, the prices are high because they don't, fuck you. You think people who want to drink are going to go, oh, no, don't want to spend another 16. But in the fact of the matter, it's like, when you've had a few drinks, what immediately happens to you?
You drink more.
well, it's the fact that you feel like, young, rich, and good looking. Mm-hmm. And so you drink more. So anyway, let me jump off my soapbox. The NHL has announced the new schedule. The Sharks are going to get a 12-day break. The Cali teams went pretty unscathed. Only a couple things to reschedule. Of course, the Canada teams are fucking hosed. Dom Luszczyszyn over The Athletic had a great article about the All-Star game and raised a great question that I wanted to ask you and everybody watching with us in the chat. Should all teams be represented at the All-Star game? Because I get it. On one hand, you have ratings. Like, for whatever reason, let's say that, you know what? Calgary sucked this year. They really, like, Edmonton's got Draisaitl and McDavid, and they're playing really well this year. And Vancouver had, I don't know, hypothetically, Besser and Demko. And the Sharks, Hertl and Meier have exceeded everybody on Calgary's team. And then you've got Zegras, and then you've got, Kopitar having a resurgent time, along with Doughty, that we only have so many spots open. If Calgary just happened to suck that season, I get it but ratings, because, well, then nobody in Calgary is going to watch. But on the other hand, you suck.
It's also not for the TV audience. It's for the kids and it's for the sponsors.
But where are the kids watching this game?
They're watching on TV, but they don't give a shit. They don't care who's playing in the game.
Yeah, but somebody even equated this to, like, it's almost like a diversity affirmative action thing. You're like, nope, every team's got to be included, whether they were good or not.
I think you can have both. Like I think if the NHL wants to make it so every team sends a guy, whatever, that's fine. But with the 3-on-3,
I'd rather have best on best.
Well, hold on. Let me finish. It limits the rosters sizes. What I think should be done, and I've been saying this for a while, like, expand the roster size. Like, I think it's okay. You can have every team send a guy, but I think it's okay if some guys are skills competition only, some guys are game only, some guys are both. Because here's the thing. You know who would have a good showing in the fastest skater competition? Noah Gregor. He's never going to the All-Star game.
You're right. No.
Martin Ferk, who's in the AHL right now, would probably beat Shea Weber in hardest shot. He's never going to the All-Star game. I think you can do both. You can have every team send a guy, but you can also have your game roster, your skills competition roster, because it's like it should be like skills competition. It should be taken literally. Who shoots the puck the best ever? Not who shoots the puck best from this group of 40 guys.
Jerk.
What?
I hate to tell you that I feel like you just found the combination.
Yeah, dude.
That's it. Like send this to gbetman@nhl.com. Like you have unlocked the secret to making the All-Star game worth watching for everybody.
Yeah, you have a game roster because you have it works for everybody. Guys who would never go to the All-Star game because they're not all-stars, they can go because they're really good at one skill. You can placate the teams who are shitty but have to send a guy, and you can placate the people who want to see best on best.
Yeah.
It's win, win, win.
Marty T. John Scott has entered the chat.
I think Kevin Lacey is the guy to task with this because he knows like everything. I would be interested to see just like an expanded all-star.
Shit. Did you hear that? Dude, I think Lacey's ego just like after what you've just said. Go ahead.
Like I think an expanded all-star roster, like that'd be an interesting like thought experiment where it's like, okay, who's playing in the game? Who do you got doing skills? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think it'd be an interesting thought experiment.
So with that, I guess we'll kind of wrap shit up here.
Thank God.
Why? Yeah, I know, right? Why are there so many racists all of a sudden? I don't get that. But
it's not all of a sudden. They've always been there, and they're all pieces of shit, and I think they should be kicked out of the league they play in. Continue.
Yeah, I don't get it. How are things going through the dark horses? Are you ready to party down like it's 1999 because the Canucks did something?
Blues are up 3-1 on the Canucks end of the second period.
Oh, wow. Things went south, didn't they? So if that continues the way it is, that means Canucks will be 18-19-4. Is that correct?
Yes.
Hey, now, so 6th in the Pacific Division. Meanwhile, the Kings have moved up to second by both points and points percentage. They did beat New Jersey earlier today. I haven't checked. Are they still 6-4-0 over their last 10, or did that change?
Yes, 6-4-0.
Okay, so they remain 6-4-0 over their last 10. 3-game losing streak after winning 4 straight, but booyah. There you go. Beat New Jersey. So, what do we don't have $5 on that one, do we? No, we don't. We just have bragging rights on that. Martin Jones is 5 starts away from Ian shaving his head, but the problem is he's also 13 save percentage points away from Ian shaving his head. So
chances are that's not going up.
Yeah, that could be a problem. So let's wrap up everything with the funny stuff. Let's take you to the tweet of the week. And we actually had one already set up, but there you go. This came in last minute. Who signed off on this billboard? This new year, get rid of old junk. Here's a photo of Erik Karlsson.
Man. Wow. He should have put Burns there.
But still, who signed off on it? Who looked at this billboard and said, yeah, we approve. Go ahead. This came in last minute off Reddit. This is fan.
Shout out, man. Whoever sent you that, shout out.
Dude, no, it was posted on Reddit. I was just like, oh my Lord.
Wow.
Oh, dude. I thought that, but this new year, get rid of old junk. Here's a great photo of Erik Karlsson.
Especially because there's no, like...
Don't tell me this photo is not going to come back in 3 or 4 years.
Well, and here's the thing, too. I could understand if it was like, oh, bring your garbage to the junk center
and
on
if Erik
this
Karlsson
day.
is holding in the photo like a thing, like a couple trash bags, like, let's all be part of the community and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, exactly. Like some kind of community outreach or like, hey, come bring your garbage on this day and you'll get I don't know, $20 off of tickets, some kind of cross promotion or community outreach or something like that. This is literally using a picture of Erik Karlsson just to get people to look at the billboard. Karlsson, you take Puck Guy, Photoshop Karlsson out of this billboard, the information is the same.
Absolutely. But I do like the fact that half the people in the chat think that I commissioned this. That is, in fact, not correct.
Yeah, dude, what they don't know is that's behind your house. You took the picture, dude. Just admit
it. You fucking guy. Oh, wait a minute. We're getting breaking news now that the Barracuda have just beaten Bakersfield. Let's see. Sheng ruined Mark Alt's night. His dad played for the Chiefs, and he asked his teammates not to ruin the game for him. Sheng then asked him after the Barracuda game if he was happy about the Chiefs win. Oh. Well, to be fair, Mark Alt only told his teammates that, and just like maybe he needed to preface, should have, you know what, that's on the Barracuda PR. Should have told everybody beforehand, hey, don't talk about the game because of this, but whatever. Anyway, finally, look, the shot heard round the world this week. We all know what it was.
Lots of reasons for why the Oilers are playing the way they are in terms of winning and losing. What do you think is the number one reason for the losses now? Is there one thing that you, in your own mind, you're saying we got to get better at that?
Yeah, we have to get better at everything.
Would you like to expand on that?
No. You can do that. You know everything.
Why are you so pissy, Leon? Why are you so pissy?
I'm not. I'm just answering your
question. Yeah, you are. Whenever I ask you a question.
I gave you an answer.
Not very good one.
Okay.
I have one more for you. Leon, you show your frustration on the ice last game against Ottawa. Is that a good thing when you show it so the other team knows you're frustrated?
Yeah, it's a great thing, for sure.
Good.
Yeah.
Oy, oy, oy.
So, I thought it was hilarious when...
Hold on, are you Team Matheson or Team Draisaitl on this?
Oh, Team Draisaitl, 100%. Because, like I said earlier, you know, if Leon Draisaitl or any other player, if they want to give you an answer that you think is not a good answer, too bad. That you should be lucky that you're getting that, right? And you know, I thought it was hilarious. No, you show me where it says they have to, you know, read the Declaration of Independence to the media every time they talk to them.
I'm not saying that. Go ahead, finish your thought. I'll give you mine.
You know, I think Matheson asked a question. Draisaitl answered it to the best of his ability in that given moment, and that's it. Matheson was being a punk for continuing to egg him on. I thought it was hilarious when Matheson was like, so you showed your frustration in that game, and Draisaitl kind of had the smirk. He's like, okay, buddy. But I think Matheson was totally out of line on that one. And I think you don't like Leon Draisaitl's answer. Well, it's still an answer, so you need to get over yourself. And you listen to that first question. It was so obvious that Matheson was poking Draisaitl, getting him to say he wanted Draisaitl to say, "Yeah, our goalie sucks," but he's not going to do that because he's not a bad teammate.
See,
no, that's literally what it is, though.
Okay, I disagree.
About which part?
Well, let me explain. For me, I think it starts. Well. First, Matheson goes, you know, if there's one thing that you think that, you know, could be the focus, like something that you would at least, like, what, you know, when everything is spiraling, when you've got 5 holes in the boat and it's going down, which hole would you choose to, you know, which one do you think is going to be the one that you should be the first one to plug up?
I think that's a Bush League question to ask.
Well,
he wanted him to railroad Mikko Koskinen.
Okay, so if you're saying he wanted him to railroad Koskinen, fine. But the thing for me is he asked him a question. What is what's the one thing you need to everything, and then Matheson goes, would you care to expand on that? Mm-hmm. No. Now that I will tell you right now, to me. Matheson, if Matheson ends it right there, Matheson comes out looking like a rose because
Sure.
then Draisaitl looks like, oh, well, Matheson asked him and Draisaitl just gave him, everything. Wow. What could that answer have been more bland, more cliche, more just fuck? Hockey players never tell you shit. But then Matheson became the victim once he poked, and said, why are you so pissy? Now, clearly, there's something that has happened between these two that provoked all of the, there was something, there's history there.
I think it also stems from, when Draisaitl said, you figure it out, you know everything.
Well, again, which makes me believe that Matheson must have written an article or something where whatever it was, Draisaitl did not care for whatever was written. Either way, my point being is that I think both of them handled it poorly. I think if Matheson pulls the ripcord earlier, he actually looks like the good guy. But because he provoked, he went to the expand thing. Or actually, it wasn't in the expand thing because, would you like to expand? No. Okay, thank you. If Matheson just would have went, okay then, like if he would have just put like a disappointing spin or something where it's just like, oh, okay, really? Okay, thank you. Like to like really put the onus of that where Draisaitl won't say anything. That's how it would have been phrased. But because it was the whole, why are you so pissy? That was the downfall.
But that's the thing. And you know what? You can not like Draisaitl's answer all you want, but it was still, based on the question that was asked, based on the expectations of Draisaitl, it was an appropriate answer.
Okay, see, and here's where I'm at. Would you rather have the media ask questions, bland questions, and accept cliche responses? Because there are shitty questions, absolutely, but there are equally, if not more so, shitty answers. We got to get pucks deep and be on our toes, but all the same fucking shit that every hockey player says after every fucking interview. Maybe it just needs to be like there needs to be a coming together of everybody that says, okay, hey, what? Let's, as the media, ask more thoughtful and provoking questions, and we will do that. We will work our hardest to ask questions that you don't think are stupid. But we're only going to do that if you don't give us the fucking, we got to get pucks deep and we got to be more physical and we got to get more shots on goal. And, if you're not going to give us the same fucking boring cliche answers time and time again, can we all come to that agreement?
I don't know.
Hey, you know what? It made for a fun day.
Yeah, I don't, like I said, I don't, I think Draisaitl answered the question appropriately, and like I said,
I don't think he did. I disagree.
Okay,
I think it was the same cliche bullshit.
Okay, but where does it? And we're not talking about how you're feeling, how you felt about it, your personal feelings. Where does it say? Where in the rules? Where in the standard player contract does it say that was a bad answer?
Where does it say it was a great answer?
It doesn't have to say it's a great answer. If it says it's a great answer, somebody's going to say, why the hell is that in there? Let's take it out. The issue is because Matheson was trying to get Leon to jam job Mikko Koskinen. Hey, tell us the one reason that you keep losing games. Throw your buddy under the bus. Leon's not going to do that. He's not a bad guy. He's not a bad teammate. Matheson was being a snake. And sure, Leon maybe, Leon's answer was curt, but I don't think it was inappropriate. And
I think it's just a case, and then Draisaitl just shouldn't even go up to the podium.
Yeah, but you know what? He is still doing that because he feels like he needs to speak. He doesn't want to, but he's doing it.
Well, it seems
it's also
silly.
Worth mentioning too.
It seems silly to feel a need to speak if you're not going to be honest.
I don't know. But it's also worth mentioning this is not an isolated incident. Gen X did a whole thread about how much of a snake Matheson is. So
see, now I'm not familiar with the history. I'm just going by what happened in this moment. I don't know either of these people. I don't know the history of either of these people. I'm just going by seeing an interaction between two people. I think both of them were wrong, but everybody can sit there and debate, well, where did the moment start? Did it start with the fact with Matheson saying, can you expand? Did it start with Draisaitl responding to that question, just going, no? Like you can debate that all day long. But then he followed it up with no. And then it was, no, you know everything.
See, the Leon Draisaitl saying what you said, you know everything, that's what provoked the why are you pissy comment. So you could, but at the same time, if you go further back, Matheson trying to get Leon to skewer Mikko Koskinen, that's what provoked the you know everything comment. It all stems, yes, Leon is not clean and innocent in this situation, but Matheson started it.
Okay.
There
I'm
you
fine.
go.
Okay. Oh,
Shout out to Dustin, dude.
Dustin, dude, dropping in the super chat. Thank you so much for that. The Sharks are down, and so is my money. Oh, is that why we only got $9.99? Okay. I'm just fucking with you. Thank you so much for the super chat. No, I'm right there with you. Let me let you know. So, God, nothing else fun to end everything on. Can we just go back to the tweet? I love this. This new year, get rid of old junk.
So my final thought. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, what's your final thought? This? Something along this line? Because it felt like one of those weeks.
Big game coming up.
Which one?
All of them. Carlson's going to score in all 3 games.
It's kind of hard to do when you're not playing.
No, I know.
I feel you. So, boy, I'm going to let you know. Coming into tonight, I did not expect this to go 2 hours. I thought hour 10 at the most. But, man, there was a lot of fun stuff to talk about. So, yeah, Jerk will debate that. So, with that, here we are, everybody.
There he goes.
Who'd go? Where he went?
Nothing.
You can follow him at hockey_jerk, me at AJ_strong. Do not forget to join us in the Discord channel. Chat never stops over there. So check out the show notes for the links or just hit us up on social media. Remember to leave your comments in the little comment section below of this YouTube video if you were not able to watch live or able to stick around for the entire 2+ hours. Famous last words, Jerk, before we get out of here.
Oh, famous last words.
Good night.
I can't wait for the Sharks to beat the Capitals and beat the Hurricanes so that you owe me $5.
I think that's how confident realistically are you in that happening? Not like I think it could happen. No. Like if you had to bet $500 which way it was going to go.
Yeah.
Be real.
Yeah.
How do you think they're doing the next 4 games? Better than 1 and 3?
Yes.
Would you like to increase the bet to 500 then?
Sure. Capitals and Hurricanes are going to be wins.
Oh boy, we might have
to put that
increase.
on your little paper.
Put that in your pipe and smoke it. All right.
Hurry up and end it so we can watch.
I'm trying. You won't shut up. So, Sharks, if you could just go 1 and 3 over the next 4, I need my $5. Which at some point, if that does in fact happen, everybody, that $5 will not go into my bank account. It will go into a frame and it will hang somewhere.
Hell yeah.
It will hang somewhere, and we might have to just make this a thing.
You might have to just tape it to your mic boom.
Or that, yeah. But this could end up being just a back and forth thing where it's like, okay, who has the $5 this week? We might just have to have the weekly bet. You know what I mean?
Sure, that'd be fun. Just kick this $5 back and forth. We'll see who gets in a hole.
Yeah. Or we just sit going back and forth. We just keep Venmoing each other back and forth. Who's got the $5 this week? Well, it's taped to AJ's mic. He must have it. All right. Remember to subscribe to us on all the social platforms, whether it's myself, whether it's Jerk, whether it's Teal Town USA. Find us everywhere. Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Reddit, blah, 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 blah. Just search us. You'll find us. If you listen to the podcast on something like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, whatever, help us out. Subscribe to our content. Leave us a little review if you could. We would certainly appreciate that. And you can find links to all of those social media, podcasts, and more in the YouTube description or whatever description is in the platform. There's so many platforms. Can we just get to one? That would be nice. Find everything on tealtownusa.com, and remember to check out After Dark post-game show after every single Sharks game. And hey, if something happens with the Vander Kane between now and whenever, we might even talk about that. So thanks for following along for the whole 2 hours. Who knew it would go that long? We will see you next week for 150. Holy shit. Are we going to do anything to celebrate episode 150?
Have it be under 90 minutes.
Oh, no. Hey, you know what? It's going to be episode 150. Yay?
Yes.
All right. Hold on. How about this? How about the talk for 10 seconds?
Oh, geez. Well, in the game that will eventually be streaming in our Discord server, the St. Louis Blues are up. They're up 3-1 on Vancouver.
I know. So, okay, I was thinking about doing this tonight, but no, let's do it next week for episode 150. Who would like a Sharkie birthday jersey? We're going to give this away next week for episode 150. So there you go. There's your reason to subscribe, and there's your reason to tune in next week. I don't know how we're going to figure out how we're going to do it, but Puck Guy and I, he can come up with a great graphic, and we're going to put something together. Jerk and I will come up with an interesting way to put it together, and there you go. Sound good?
Yeah, we'll have to come up with something. I'm already kicking around a few ideas.
Hey now. So, 150. Show number 150. I can't even believe that. So, thanks. Fuck, we might have to invite a special guest. Don't even know. Oh, wait a minute. Because we're at like 2:12, 2 hours and 12 minutes so far. Are we going to reach the 3-hour show that Ian has been begging for?
God help us.
Yeah. Tune in next week and find out. Thank you, everybody, for checking us out. We will catch you all next Sunday following Rams and 49ers. Take it easy, everybody.